before we talk about what is the Copa Libertadores, there's some stuff I'd like to talk about. It's the new segment of the episode. And first, let's talk about the round of 16. Is that what it's called? The round of 16
Yeah,
of the
round of
Copa.
16.
The round of 16. And there's some interesting stories here, man. And I like to share that with you and hear your opinion about it. First of all, Rosario Central versus Corinthians, Jesse Lingard and Angel Di Maria, who were once teammates in Manchester United, by the way, in like 2014 or 2015. But now they're going to be facing each other in Gigante de Arroyito in Rosario. What an amazing time to be alive.
I always ask myself, like, do these players like get along with each other? Like, is DC Lingard actually like seeing Di Maria and saying like, "Hey, how are you doing, man? Like, it's been a long time," or are they like just like, "Oh, hi"?
Perhaps they like text each other before the game. Like, "Hey, great game, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't think like Angel Di Maria is like, I don't know. I just don't imagine Angel Di Maria like knowing how to speak English, to be honest. And DC Lingard definitely doesn't speak Spanish either. So I think that their relationship must be like super distant, to be fair.
Yeah, probably. Actually, it's funny. Like, not funny, but I really admire that Di Maria returned to Rosario to play the Libertadores, man. That's really like commendable. And besides that, Marco Ruben. Do you know who Marco Ruben is?
Of course, man. I mean, I haven't like watched him seriously for a while, but I mean, he's a legend at Rosario Central. He's like the typical player that you always get to see. Someone like that reminds me a lot to Marc Corra, which is like a legendary player as well from Rosario Central.
Okay.
Obviously not at the level of Marco Ruben,
Yeah.
but he was like a player that was super connected to the roots of the team. And also he has like a hell lot of style. Like he uses, like he was rocking that mullet for a long time now.
Yeah.
He was like so technical, so tactical, and like true leader,
Nice. Yeah, like I really first I admire Michael Ruben because obviously he played for Atletico during just one season, but it was a magical season. Actually, he was the protagonist of a very special match that I'm gonna mention later. But this guy, he retired twice and got out of retirement twice just to keep playing for Central, man. That's really like commendable, And he came back to play with Di Maria in the Libertadores. So Marco is such a legend, man. And if I'm not mistaken, he is the all-time top scorer for Rosario. So the guy just he just like he can't stop. He doesn't know how to stop. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, and it's interesting to think about the two sides of the coin, right? Because in one hand, we have like all this beautiful story of like Angel Di Maria coming back to Rosario Central and Marco Ruben getting along with each other, fighting for the Copa Libertadores. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know if this news were able to get to Brazil, but at the same time, we have come from all the all the drama related to the tournament that was given to Rosario Central a few months ago now.
I've heard a bit of it. I don't know what's about. I don't know what happened.
So the story is basically that Rosario Central ended up at the top of the annual table in the first part of the Apertura tournament in Argentina. The tournament is divided in two parts. All right. So the champion is actually the team that wins the playoff part of the tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you finish in the table from first place to sixth place. And all of these teams are going to face each other until there's a final, and the winner of that final is the champion.
Makes sense.
Right? All right. Yeah. So what happened in Argentina was that Chiqui Tapia, who's like the president of the Argentinian Federation, he basically decided at the end of the tournament to give a trophy to the champions of the annual table as well.
Out of the blue, like.
All right. Completely out of the blue. Out of the blue, Angel Di Maria was given the trophy at the AFA headquarters. It wasn't in a football pitch as well.
Yeah.
So basically what ended up happening was that Rosario Central were giving a trophy, and many think that Angel Di Maria and Rosario Central knew about this. That's why they kept fighting for that first place at the annual table, right? Nobody was like fighting for that title except for Rosario Central.
Yeah.
Which obviously made it easier for them to become the champions. So basically, I mean, people went crazy, and the next game that Rosario played was against Estudiantes de La Plata.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, will face Universidad Católica in the round of 16 in this Copa Libertadores, who kicked out Boca, but we're going to talk about that later. Yeah. So the thing is that the Estudiantes de La Plata players were forced to make what we call in Spanish a túnel. So basically, everybody has to
to receive the other team, right?
Yeah, they had to receive the Rosario Central players, and they were forced to do that by AFA, or they were getting banned. They were getting banned from the competition. So what they did was to do this sort of receipt. How are we calling it?
Reciprocate, or I'm not sure if that's the word you're looking for.
Yeah, this form of celebration of
Okay.
show this way of showing respect to the champion, but backwards.
Oh, okay.
That's why they were able to do it. But I mean,
And they
they were
didn't get that.
actually saying,
Yeah.
yeah, they actually got banned anyways.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
La Brujita Verón, Sebastián Verón,
Yeah.
a legendary player in Manchester United and many teams in Europe, he was banned from being the president of Estudiantes de La Plata as well. So it ended up very nasty for Estudiantes de La Plata. But also that led to a huge investigation from the Argentinian law.
Yeah.
And basically now the Argentinian Federation president and all his like nearby colleagues are getting investigated. It's getting really nasty. Like there's been a lot of things discovered, and everything just because they want to give a trophy to Rosario Central, which is crazy.
Basically, AFA being AFA, just a regular Tuesday in Argentinian football. But actually, that reminds me. I mean, I like Messi. I like watching Messi play. I like Messi being successful. But it was really bullshit when they gave Inter Miami a spot in the Club World Cup last year, just because Inter Miami won like it was like a community shield or something, a really stupid title, just so that Messi could be in the World Cup. Like, it's fine, it's entertainment, but come on, like really, like it doesn't really make sense. But
Yeah, I remember some people were comparing it to winning the group stage of a tournament and giving the trophy because of that, right? It was like the first stage, and the first stage champions were given the trophy. But I mean, FIFA wanted Messi in the tournament, and it's okay. I mean,
if Gianni says it, it's gonna be done. So
yeah, hell,
but
you have to think about the journey of the FIFA president, right? That's why you have to watch my last video.
Where can we learn more about how to become a FIFA president, Martin?
I don't know, man. Maybe you can check out the Martin Young YouTube channel where we have been doing bits in there and learn a little bit more about the nasty journey of becoming the FIFA president, which leads to how does the FIFA president behave, right?
Yes, exactly. Actually, that video came out today. We're recording this on the 31st of May. We're going to link it in the description, so definitely check it out. Amazing job. But actually, getting back to the round of 16, another story which I find very interesting is Cruzeiro versus Flamengo. Leo Jardim, which is Flamengo's manager, will be facing his former club. Actually, he left Cruzeiro because he had some personal issues he had to take care of. And I've heard that he said he would not manage another club in Brazil. And 2 months later, Flamengo calls him, and the rest, you know how it goes. So it's going to be interesting to see that story as well. And actually, there's another thing that I find really interesting is that Mirassol is still alive in the tournament. I don't know if I think we've talked about this off air, but have you followed Mirassol's story last year in the Brasileirão? Do you know what team this is?
Yeah, I think it was the team that ended like fourth in the Brasileirão,
Yeah.
which like were doing great by that time. I think it's interesting because I mean in Uruguay it was kind of talked about because Mirassol is actually how we call Peñarol as well. Really? It's like Mancha, and also like journalists and stuff like that sometimes call it like El Conjunto Mirassol, which is like the Mirassol team, and basically that's Peñarol. But Mirassol is actually another team from Brazil.
Oh, what does Mirassol mean in Spanish, in Uruguayan cooking?
To be honest, I'm not quite sure, man. Like we should definitely like research about that.
Okay.
I'm not sure why do people call it Mirassol, but yeah, I mean it's the same name. It's so weird. Right?
Yeah, and Mirassol got a story like a little bit similar to Leicester in the Premier League in 2016. It's a team that came out of nowhere, a small team from a small town in São Paulo, in the São Paulo state, and they just they really clicked together, man, and they got to the Libertadores, and people thought, okay, they're gonna fall in the group stage, and now they're in the round of 16, and they're gonna face LDU again in the altitude of Ecuador. So I'm happy to see them still alive. They are in a really shitty position in Brasileirão.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, Paranaense just beat them yesterday 1-0. But it's funny to see them go through in the Libertadores. So that's gonna be interesting. And finally, we have Palmeiras versus Cerro Porteño again and again and again. It seems like it happens every year. It's kind of becoming like the Manchester City versus Madrid in the UEFA Champions League, but for the Libertadores, man.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, but still, I think the difference between these sort of games like Palmeiras versus Cerro Porteño and Manchester City against Real Madrid is that these teams actually change throughout the years, right? when you get to see Madrid against Manchester City, you feel like they are pretty much the same stuff over and over again because these teams change like very little over the years.
Yeah.
Like their changes are very small, and sometimes like they buy what like two players, for example. But in general, the base of every team is always the same, right? And the managers they are always the same as well. So it's really interesting to see this sort of clashes, anyways, because Palmeiras, the team of Palmeiras from 4 years ago was completely different to what it is nowadays, right? And Cerro Porteño, much more of the same, like these teams they buy players and they send them to Europe like every single time, and they're like always looking for the most or the biggest talents in their countries. So it's a game I'm really looking forward to watch. And to be honest, I'm not quite sure why, but I still love the Copa Libertadores classical games.
Yeah, yeah.